What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on Buy Sell Cars TV. Today we are talking about this Honda Jazz. It's a 2009 1.4 one owner car from new. I just picked this up from BCA Blackbushe and I thought, do you know what, let me give you a quick video on this car, obviously show you through the exterior and interior. It is a little bit dirty inside as well, and obviously you're going to get to see that in the video, and later on, once the car's prepped, you'll get to see the difference between the before and afters. So stay tuned for that, because it's going to be a good transformation on the interior, because it is a little bit of a dirty place, but you're going to see all that in a second anyway. But for now, let's jump out, let's give you a quick walk around the car, and you'll get to see the current state and condition that the Honda Jazz is in. So let's jump out now. Right, so let's start on the exterior of the car. First good point is the front number plate. Bristol Honda is the supplying dealer of this car, and it's a good sign because it potentially means that this car has never had any front end damage because it's got the original dealer plates. So that's a bonus. Going down the driver's sides, obviously the car is filthy just because of the weather and how things are at the moment, but generally speaking, there's not really anything too crazy over from this side onwards. However, on the rear bumper, we do have a bit of scrapes going over here. So it was a grade 3 car, meaning, you know, it's in pretty good condition. I don't agree with that, to be honest. That's probably not grade 3, but it's not end of the world. You know, it's done 120,000 miles. It's 2009. You're going to expect wear and tear, but because of the value of the car, I don't really think it's something major. Going over to the back over here, things are looking pretty good, nothing standing out of the ordinary. And then moving down to the passenger side, again, things are looking pretty good. Just the odd little dinks over here, you can't even really pick it up on the camera. And then we've got a little cut into the paint over here as well. That's probably the most obvious thing. Bumper's looking pretty good over here. Again, just tiny little mark, which I probably think this will T-cut out. We are missing the tow eye cover, which potentially means at some point this car could have been towed, or it has just fallen off. But you never know, it is an old car. It can have a bit of a story, but it's driving pretty good. And then over on the front as well, we've just got a little bit of stone chips and a bit of rust on the bonnet, a couple of faint scratches. But do you know what? I think overall, for a car off this age of mileage, 120,000 miles, near enough 14 years old, it's thumbs up so far. Let's go check the interior. So first impressions of the interior, you can see it's not the nicest of places to be in at the moment. A lot of mud, a lot of dust, wear on the steering wheel, all the sills have a lot of dirt and mud. Even the door over here, nothing major, obviously just dirt, but look, a lot of dust. It's not the nicest, most clean place to sit. Does need a very, very good, deep, thorough valet. This is going to be a fun job for the guys over in the car wash getting this done, but it's all just cosmetic things, you know. It can all be fixed, it can all be changed, but this is going to be a good one for the before and afters. So stay tuned later for that. Let's check the back out as well. Yeah, and on first impressions, looking in the back, it's definitely a lot cleaner than the front. However, there still is a lot of dust, bit of dirt over on the seats, back of the seat there. Things that you'd expect, but it's all just basic things to be cleaned. It's nothing too major. But overall for the interior, it's a thumbs up-ish. Right, let's get into talking about why I bought this Honda Jazz. I think the biggest reason, obviously as I touched on a moment ago, the car's a one-owner car, and especially at this age, it's really nice to buy a car that's one owner from new. A lot of people do say, it doesn't matter, it's more about the service history, and yes, you are right to some extent. If you've got a one-owner car and it hasn't been serviced, that's terrible. Whereas if you had a 5-owner car but it's been serviced fully main dealer or specialist, that would probably be a better car. But I just have a thing, I like buying low-owner cars, and a one-owner car tells me a lot about the individual. They paid top money for the car when it was new, so chances are they've looked after it to some extent. I know the other end of the way looking at it is when somebody buys a car new and it gets old, they might think it's not worth much money. But generally, from my experience, one-owner car is a good thing. The other thing which I liked as well, and this is a big, big bonus point, the car was recently MOT'd and recently serviced. So to me, you know, combined with being a one-owner car, that's such a good thing. It tells you a lot about the ownership. It tells you that, you know, whoever owned this car likes to take care of it, because if a car's on its last legs or it's a bit of a banger, chances are you're not going to be servicing it regularly because you don't really think it's worth doing so because it's on its last legs, so you wouldn't want to spend that money. And obviously the MOT on the car as well, it was really good. Looking at the advisories in the past as well, there wasn't anything crazy. So it just gave me a good insight into the car. So those are the reasons of what attracted me to buy this car. Now obviously I need to have a bit of faith in the car to think it's going to be a good seller. So for me, it's in a lovely colour, it's a 1.4. Yes, the mileage is on the higher end, 120. It's not really high in terms of the age of the car, but obviously having the one owner, the service history, I think it had about 14 services as well, gave me a lot of confidence in this car. But it's a 1.4 car, it's ULEZ exempt, it's cheap to insure, it's cheap to run, it's pretty practical as well. It's got air conditioning, electric windows, electric mirrors that fold as well. So on that front, it's a good little city car. So I thought I'd go for it, bidded on this car and I won it. And on first impressions of picking this car up and driving it, it's bang on. It's fantastic. And it only emphasizes all of those reasons which I've just spoken about of it being a good car have shown. You know, I started it up, checked the oil, checked the water, everything was on point because it was just serviced recently. No dash lights on, car's driving fantastic, pulling through all the gears. I've probably driven it about 30 miles now. I know it's not crazy, but still you get a good feel for the car straight away. And then going through the history and the paperwork of the car, it's really good. Stacks of invoices, and the clutch had been changed last year as well, so I've got an invoice for that. So clutch is basically brand new, feels super good. So that's a bonus as well, adds value to the car. But overall, this purchase to me looks really good, really happy with how things are looking so far. Obviously, it's got a few things on the bodywork, but as you'd expect of a car of this age, nothing to be concerned about or whatever. It's just not a clean place to sit inside. But things like this don't scare me at all. If anything, I quite like when the car's dirty, because when the car's dirty, you feel like you've got your money's worth when it gets valeted, because you can really see the difference it makes. Because whether a car's a little bit dirty or horrendous, once they clean it, it's going to get done to the same standard. But you're going to get to see that later on in the video when we come to a conclusion. Because in reality, I don't need to get a lot done to this car. It's just been serviced, just been MOT'd, all the tyres are good. So really and truly, you know, the car just needs, you know, once over getting it inspected just to make sure it's all safe and roadworthy. But other than that, in terms of, you know, actual things that need getting done, the car just needs to be valeted. And it's a nice feeling when you buy a car from auction and that's all you need to get done to it. And don't get me wrong, don't take this as, oh, it's super easy to, you know, get into this business and just make money. You're going to buy a car, wash it. Like, that doesn't happen all the time. You're more likely to have that if you buy a car privately, because you can fully inspect it and check it out before you buy it. Whereas when you're buying from auctions, that doesn't happen as much. But you get an idea, you know, by buying like a one owner car, recently serviced, recently MOT'd, bodywork generally was in reasonable condition. So it gives you an idea that the car's been taken care of. And it shows when I picked it up that the car just needs to be valeted to get it ready for sale. But hopefully that gives you a quick overview and a quick idea of the current condition of the car, what it was like picking it up from the auction, and obviously just the first impressions. Nothing seems to be wrong with it. Everything seems well. So on that note, what we're going to do now is get the car dropped off to the valeters, let them work their magic, transform this interior, and then I'm going to catch up with you in a couple of days and you're going to see the transformation done on this Honda Jazz. So I'll see you in a bit, guys. Right, we're back from getting the car valeted, so I'll give you a quick walk around of the car to show you how it's looking now. And as you can see, the car's looking nice and clean, as you'd expect. But I'm going to give you a few of the close-ups of the things that were wrong with the car before. So I don't know if you remember, we had loads of moss over here, and you know, things like that. Obviously, you just get the jet wash out and just throw it at it and it gets rid of it. But I think just from even a car wash, it is looking a lot cleaner than what it was before. It's the little things really, like it's, you know, not a big thing to get done, and it's kind of common sense really, obviously getting a car wash, but you'd be surprised at some of the adverts you see with the condition of the car and how dirty the car really is. Not really a lot to see on this car in terms of work getting done to it. There was that little rust scratch over here. I can touch it up with a bit of paint, but it's one of those, I think sometimes you can make it look a bit more worse if you start messing about with it. Like I say, it's a 2009 car, so it doesn't really need doing. One of the things which I'm still trying to get is a tow eye cover for the car. I figured out why I think that might have been, because obviously the clutch had been changed on this car last year. So there's a possibility, obviously the car broke down and it was used to be towed from there, but it kind of makes sense with the clutch being done. But that's the exterior. Hopefully you've got a good idea. Not a lot to see, but thumbs up, looking fantastic. Let's check the interior. Now, on first impressions, you can see there is a massive difference with the interior and how it was before. I have taken the mats out because I think in the shot you've seen before, this was filthy, so I thought I'd try and show you the before and after. And do you know what? It actually looks worse on camera and better in real life, but it is what it is. I think it's come out really good compared to how things were before. Even down here, it was very filthy. And as you can see, it's a lot more cleaner than what it was, a lot more presentable. It looks a lot cleaner, smells fresh inside. So I'm really happy with how this has come out in comparison to before. Let me show you the back seats as well. Yeah, same situation over here as well. You know, the back seats weren't as bad in the first place to start with, but it's looking really clean. Even the carpets down here literally look like new. I know sometimes it's more difficult to pick it up on the camera, or it may look worse or better, but I can tell you this is looking a lot better
than how the car was a couple of days ago. So overall, I think this car has come out really nice. Like I say, not a crazy amount of work that needed to get done to this car, but like I say, it's a kind of a bonus. You don't get these things very often, and it's nice to buy a car from auction when it's minimal work needed, because that just means obviously there's going to be more profit margin to be made on the car. It's an easier preparation, which means you can get it advertised, get your money flowing again quicker than you would if it needed any repairs. So overall, I'm really happy with how this has turned out, and hopefully as well with getting the car valeted, you got to see the transition again. I know obviously I like to do it in every single video, but I really just do like to emphasize the difference it makes before and after. And you do get to see how value gets added to the car, because when you are looking at the car, when I pick it up from the auction, you can see the condition it's in. It doesn't look as attractive in that sense, you know, if you're looking to buy a car. But by the end of the video, such as now, when I show you the shots of the interior and exterior, give you the slow-mos, you can really start to see the difference that is made and how it looks a lot more attractive, you know, when you're going to be putting it on the market. So hopefully that's come across on today's video. But anyway, guys, I'm going to end today's video here. Like I say, it's just been a bit of a quick one, not a crazy amount of work that needed to get done to the car, but I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Take care, guys.